Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Amazing. So wonderful to be here with you, Gertrude. Thank you for having me, and to be here with your listeners is an honor. I'm Ruchi Pinniger. I am based in New York City. My company is called Watch Her Prosper, and I'd love to share more about why I started this business and why I do the work that I do. So I will rewind and talk to you about when I was a young girl. I had immigrant parents who came over to this country, who really reinvented themselves. We lost my dad very early, so ultimately I was raised by a single mom. And one of the things that I really remember growing up were all of my classmates and friends had all of these in fashion designs that we really couldn't afford. And I remember thinking that those things equated to happiness, that meant you had a perfect life when you had all of those things. So fast forward many years, I was on Wall Street. I felt I finally made it. That was sort of my success. And I thought, okay, so now it's time for me to be able to afford these things. And I bought myself a Prada bag, and I thought that would change everything. And here's the thing, it didn't. It didn't change anything. In fact, I went into debt. And yes, of course, I had that momentary, fleeting sense of satisfaction, but my life was exactly the same. And this is the moment where I realized that prosperity comes from the inside. It's not about the material items. It's really something that we all can carry with us, no matter what's happening in our external circumstances. And in this beautiful work that I've gotten to do at Watch Her Prosper over the years, I've narrowed it down to 3 pillars of redefining prosperity. And those pillars are well-being, spirituality, and relationships with people and with money. So thinking about well-being, what I want you to think about is a new way of thinking about well-being. Yes, of course, the exercise and diet, sleep, all of those are so, so important. I want you to go further. I want you to think about, what are the things that really, truly bring you joy? How can you spoil yourself? What are you not doing for yourself? So for me, something that I love, for example, is just having PJ days, just to hang out and binge watch my favorite shows, regular massages. We have clients who love their weekly mani-pedis, and we make sure we budget for those things. So it could be a girls' trip. What is it that you love to do and you're not doing? And how can you incorporate that into your life and commit to that? And like I said, budget for it. And this comes in all shapes and sizes in terms of your budget. So a really great way to take care of yourself when you think about a practical, tactical tip of well-being is really just to get grounded. And there's so many ways to get grounded. It could just be a walk in nature. It could be just breathing, dancing, singing. So one of the things I love to do is the 4-7-8 breathing technique. I'm going to share that with you. And this is something, if you can't sleep, if you're feeling anxious, if you just need to feel like back into your body in the middle of the day, you can do this anytime. You can teach it to your children, to your parents, to your loved ones. So what you do is you breathe in for 4 seconds, then you hold it for 7 seconds, and you exhale for 8 seconds while your tongue is on the roof of your mouth, between the roof of your mouth and your teeth. So I'm going to do it with you, and I'm just going to close my eyes, and we're just going to inhale for 4, We're going to hold for 7. And we're going to exhale for 8. Right here. My tongue is right there. So do 3 rounds of that anytime you feel like you need to take care of yourself. Okay, let's move on to the second pillar. That is spirituality. So, spirituality is simply the recognition that there's something bigger than us in play here. So, I talk a lot about the universe, about God, about source. Even if those don't connect with you, think about just your higher self. And I want you to think about the universe is a mirror. So everything you're putting out is reflected back to you. So if you are living in lack and you are living in scarcity, and that's what your thoughts are all day, right? The majority of our thoughts, they say, are negative thoughts. And we have an average of 60,000 thoughts a day. So if you're going around thinking negative thoughts, there's never enough time, I'm so overwhelmed, everything's so hard, it's so hard to make money, then that's what you're calling in and that's what you're bringing back. So, what I really would love to do is invite you to use my RIR method. So, this method is recognize, interrupt, reframe. Recognize when you're having negative thoughts, interrupt them, and reframe them with more positive thoughts. And this is something you can do immediately. It's free. You can start doing it. And you can take it with you anywhere you go. So let me give you an example. Those of you who are business owners, moms, right, we're juggling so much. We're in this go, go, go society where the busier we are, the more value we think we put on ourselves. So I want you to just slow down and I want you to think about, next time that you're feeling overwhelmed and you've got so much going on and you're saying, oh my gosh, there's never enough time. I want you to recognize that. I want you to interrupt that. And I want you to reframe that with a more empowering thought, like something like, there's always time to do everything I want to do. I am time. And just take a breath and pause and start to feel that. Not just say it, but I want you to really feel in your body that new empowering thought and see how that starts to shift how you show up and see how things get easier, as an example. Let's move on to our third pillar. We're going to move on to healthy relationships with people and with money. Okay, so talking about people, I want you to think about, who are you spending your time with, right? They say that we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So are you spending your time with people who are lifting you up, rising you, empowering you, encouraging you, or are your relationships based on complaining and gossiping? I want you to just really reflect on that. And I want you to think about, even from a money perspective, the people you're spending your time with, are you ashamed of where you are with money? Are you feeling like you have to keep up with them? Or even, are you feeling like you can't be honest about how much money you have and about the abundance that you have in your life? Find the people that you are aligned with and really make those people your tribe. And you will see what an impact that has in how you show up. Now, next, let's talk about healthy relationships with money. So, healthy relationships with money, they're about a few different things. So, first of all, it's your money mindset. What is your mindset around your money? Do you feel like there's never enough? Do you feel like you don't deserve it? I want you to really reflect about what it is you are carrying around with you around money. So a lot of our money stories come from our childhood, right? Maybe we had parents who were fighting about money and now we feel like money's not safe. I have this beautiful story where little Mary had her purple corduroy bag. She went to the mall with her parents. They were shopping. She was at the arcade. She had her bag next to her. She was playing games while they were shopping. And then it was time to go. She went down to get her bag. And yes, it was there, but it was empty. So she has subconsciously been carrying a story with her for all her life that she does not hold money. She's not able to hold money. Money is not safe with her. And that had really caused her to undercharge, to overspend, and to really not be living her most prosperous life. And when she started to really recognize that she was carrying that around with her, she started to feel better. She started to charge more. She started to feel safe holding money and saving money and investing her money. So really, I want you to step back and think about, what are the stories you're carrying with you, because 95 to 97% of how we show up is based on our subconscious beliefs. So what are you carrying with you? I want you to reflect on that. And on that note, how does money make you feel in your body? So if I say to you, money just walked into a room, what do you feel? You know, you hear people say, I feel anxious, I feel um, I feel like scared. So, what are the feelings that come up when you sort of equate money to a person? And that will tell you that there's something deeper there. Somebody said to me once, I feel suspicious. So that was really interesting. So just reflect on the idea of what happens in your body when you think about money. And then the third aspect of healthy relationships with money relates to our money habits. What are you doing around your money? Are you looking at your numbers? Are you paying attention? Are you planning appropriately? I want you to really step back and look at, how do you react with money? What are you doing around your money? Are you planning your cash flow? Are you ignoring the numbers? And what happens when it's time to meet with your accountant? Are you getting scared? Are you getting nervous? Are you getting excited? I want you to really step into building this beautiful relationship with money.
Oh my gosh. Being an entrepreneur, everything you're saying makes so much sense. It's all about the energy that you have around the money that you're creating, correct?
That is absolutely right. I mean, money is just energy.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And having that shift, that internal shift, makes such a difference. Now, can you tell us about your journey from Wall Street to founding Watch Her Prosper and what inspired that transition?
Absolutely. So that was a really interesting time. When I was on Wall Street, yes, of course, I had all of the typical corporate success. I ran a team, I made money. But the thing is, there was really something on the inside that was missing. I felt like there was more for me to do in the world. And I struggled with that for so many years. I was on Wall Street for 15 years. And for most of it, I was questioning, what am I meant to do in my life? And there was even a period of time where I took a sabbatical thinking that I was going to sort of go find myself. And, I worked at a nonprofit. I took cake decorating classes. I took floral design classes. I did all of these things. And you know what I ended up doing? I ended up going right back into my old job and staying
Wow.
there for many years. And ultimately, I did try another role in the company, and it just was not a good fit. And that can be a whole nother episode. We could talk about that one day. So ultimately, though, I finally left the corporate world, and I still was so lost. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I hired an amazing coach who was the one who really opened me up to spirituality and the universe. And what she said to me was, be open to the messages of the universe and just hear where it's guiding you. Because I was that sort of typical type A control person. I needed to know what was next. And she allowed me and sort of like gave me permission almost to slow down and step back and really start to take in what I was hearing and what people needed. And what I started to hear were all these amazing women who started businesses, who had all of the money stories. I'm not good with the numbers. I don't know what I'm doing. I hate doing this. And I realized that was my calling. I realized I have this beautiful background in finance, and I always wanted to be a therapist. I almost wanted to do that in college, and my family sort of encouraged me to do business. So I got to do this work. I heard all these women, and one of those women was one of my very good friends. I started to work with her, and after 3 months she started to talk about what an impact it was making, how she started to
Mhm.
fall in love with her business again. She felt like she wasn't alone. She had a handle on her money. She understood what was coming in and out. We started planning with her cash flow. She increased her rates. She started to really just feel more confident around her money, and she
Yes.
started telling everyone about me. And
Oh,
the
wow.
woman, yeah. And then one woman said to me, I feel like an angel sent you, when I told her I could help her. And I realized I can do this beautiful work and help people this way.
I love it. And it's interesting how one's career can evolve in a direction that you would never have imagined. you kind of followed your promptings and you just went with it. And now you've created this amazing business. So, what are some of the specific challenges that you see women business owners face when it comes to financial management?
Yes. Well, first of all, women just generally don't love talking about money, don't feel safe. So that's one of the things that's really important at Watch Her Prosper is really creating that safe, judgment-free zone.
Yeah.
61% of women would rather talk about the details of their own death than talk about money. So
Yes.
that's why this work is so important. And
Yeah.
what happens when somebody comes in to work with us is first we just start by getting a handle and understanding what is actually happening, because many times we don't even really know. We know we're making money and we're spending money, and we know we think we're profitable and we're paying ourselves when we need to, but we're not really planning. So what's really key is we get your books up to date and accurate in excellent shape, so we really have great data to work with. And then we start to dream a little bit and we start to think about what what is it you want to do with your life? What are your personal goals? And let's align those personal goals with the business goals. And let's
Yeah.
understand and really work our way to extracting how much revenue do we need to make to cover our business expenses, cover our taxes, save for an emergency fund and a growth fund, pay
Yes.
our personal expenses, meet our personal goals. What does that look like? And that is so eye opening because when people have that number, they have something to really work towards.
Yes. I love that. And it's all about the data, right? It's about knowing what the numbers actually are.
Yes, I always say don't judge the information, just look at it as data because
Yes.
we have so much self-judgment, and I invite all of you to let go of the self-judgment and really just love yourself and trust yourself. And anywhere you are in your financial journey, now can be the time for you to make that change and for your future to be different than your past.
So, how does your experience in managing economic ups and downs help you guide business owners through today's financial uncertainties?
I think this goes to planning, right? They say that 82% of businesses fail due to cash flow mismanagement. So if we're
Yes.
not planning and understanding what's coming or what we anticipate to be coming, it becomes very difficult, which is why we really work with our clients to create strategies to save for taxes and save for those emergency and growth funds as we go.
Yes.
We want to make sure that we're setting ourselves up even when we're very profitable, even when there's maybe you could call it extra cash in there. We want to have a place for it. And another thing is really, even just for those of you out there that are doing really well and never really question, is there going to be an issue in the future? I want you to consider getting a line of credit now when you don't need it. So if ever you needed it, it was there just as sort of peace of mind, as sort of an emergency fund backup. Get it when you don't need it, so it's there for you.
Oh, I like that. That's really forward planning. So, what are some of the misconceptions or common fears that women business owners have about financial success? And how do you address these in your mentorship?
Well, I think part of it is those deep-rooted beliefs. I think I shared earlier, 95 to 97% of how we show up is based on our subconscious beliefs. So if we may not even realize why we are behaving a certain way around money, many times it stems from our childhood and how we were raised. And it might not have been purposeful. It might have been just been, we're little video recorders until we're around age 7 or 8. So just seeing
Yeah.
the habits around us of our parents, and we all say they all did the best they could, but we are picking up on all of those habits. So it's important for us to dig a little deeper and to recognize when there is something we're carrying around with us. That's, I think, a really key piece. And that's maybe one of the big differentiators even of the work that we do.
Yeah. So, how do you encourage your clients to shift from scarcity mindset to one of abundance, particularly in uncertain economic times?
A lot of it is just their own practice. So one of the things we like to do is really work with our clients. I shared earlier about the RIR method and the language we use and catching
Yeah.
ourselves, because if we're walking around saying everything's bad and there's never enough, we really are getting that back. And we're sort of not only spiritually and like in terms of like opening ourselves up to abundance, but also we're almost like putting blinders on and not able to see what's available to us. That's the bigger piece of it,
Uh,
because we have the ability to process, there's 11 million bits of information available to us at any second, and we can process 40. So if you're looking for something, you are going to see it. So if you can open yourself up to what you're looking for, and sort of that piece shifts right into the RIR method. Like those of you who feel like there's never enough clients and you're walking around like, oh, there's no clients, I never have enough clients. But instead, you sort of like change your view and your language to say there's clients everywhere. Everywhere I go, there's opportunities to meet new clients. You start to open yourself up and to see those things.
and it's easy to have the blinkers, you know. So I guess for you as a coach, you come and you say, look to the left, it's right there, or look to the right. Sometimes it's right in front of you, but you can't see the wood from the trees. And especially when you're
That's exactly
working
right.
in your business and not on it, correct?
That's right. And that's why I talk about those three pillars. And really when that well-being piece is so important, because if we're not giving ourselves a little bit of space, we're not even open to the possibilities. We're not open to, we're not allowing the time to tune in even to our intuition if we're not giving ourselves the space and the luxury of what that comes with. So it's so
Yeah.
important to care for ourselves and do that. Yeah.
So what trends are you noticing amongst women entrepreneurs today? And how is Watch Her Prosper adapting to meet their needs?
We are seeing women being a lot more open-minded around the mindset piece. I think I think that women are starting to become more aware of how important it is to pay attention to the numbers, that they no
Yeah.
longer can hide to have a successful business. Because here, 88% of women make less than $100,000. And if you want to really make an impact in the world, then you know that you need to pay attention to those numbers. And I think that women are starting to really open their eyes to that. And women are just so excited to change the world. I mean, that's what I'm seeing right, in the women that I'm around, that I'm spending my time with, because I do pay attention to my relationships with people, and I do make sure that I'm around women who are just like really out there to make an impact and a difference. And that, I think, is a really huge thing that is just generally across the board in our society now, and it's exciting.
It is exciting. You want to be amongst the movers and shakers. They say that you're a sum total of the five people who are closest to you. So we do have
That's
to watch
exactly
who are
right.
we hanging out with, right?
That's right. And I
So,
and I shared earlier, right, is like not only who we're hanging out with, but what are their money stories, and how are their money stories impacting how you're showing up as well. And I think
yeah.
all of it's so aligned and important. Yeah.
So what personal qualities do you think are essential for women in business to cultivate for long-term financial and personal prosperity?
I think like a big thing is really commitment, and
Mhm.
really holding yourself accountable, and
Yes.
also trust. So everything starts with self-trust. If you're not trusting yourself, you're not going to be able to even trust others who are there to support you. So it all starts with trusting yourself, knowing that you are capable of making choices, knowing that everything you need is inside of you, and your intuition can guide you. And
Yes.
that intuition is what also can support you in getting the right support around you and trusting the people around you to help you. Because many of us are very focused on, controlling things, and we want to do it all. I don't know if it's a societal thing. I know I'm a recovering control freak. So, many of us we're used to doing everything. We want to take care of everything at home and at work and other people. But in order to really grow, we have to trust others, in addition to trusting ourselves, and trust
Yeah.
them and be open and allowing to their support. And that is also really, really key in growth.
So, what are some financial habits or strategies that you believe every woman business owner should adapt?
Planning, planning. I can't say it enough.
Yeah,
It doesn't work to just spend and make money and spend and make money. You have to understand what's happening. You have to be able to take a look back at what's worked and not worked, and to take a
yes,
look forward at what you're thinking you want to do. And if you're happy to make a steady amount of income and have, like, low expenses and sort of just operate individually, that's cool. That's okay. But if you want to grow and you want to expand, you also need to be looking at, well, what do I need to be making to hire that next employee, to invest in
yeah.
that personal development for myself, for my own growth, and really just always thinking about where your money's going. Because so often I hear people say, I'm profitable, so why do I feel broke, right? If you're not planning, you don't even know where your money's going. And you could be making $5 million and have $1 million of debt and no money in the bank, or you could be making 500,000 and be planning and prosperous and have plenty of money in the bank and be investing and saving as well.
Yes, yeah, planning is everything. It is the key. So, looking to the
Yes.
future, what are your goals for Watch Her Prosper? And how do you envisage continuing to empower women business owners?
So for me at Watch Her Prosper is really just continuing to grow in our services. We currently offer one-to-one services, and it's so beautiful because we get to connect with each business owner and really help to support them in a holistic, customized way. I
Wow.
also, me personally, am really looking to the future to be able to impact so many more women. And I'm doing a lot more speaking, and thank you for this opportunity to be here with you. I'm doing a ton more speaking on stages, on podcasts, to really spread the word on redefining prosperity, and for people to understand how prosperity really does start with the inside. It comes from the inside. Those external things, those are beautiful and all, and if you want them, have them, but they are not what makes you whole.
My last two questions are a bit of a time experiment, and I'm going to
Ooh.
teleport you into the past. And we are going to go and have a
Mm.
conversation with the younger you, the young woman who went into the world of business, wanted to prosper, wanted to help other women do the same. If you could go back into the past and give yourself three nuggets of wisdom, what would those three nuggets of wisdom be based on what life has taught you up until this point?
That is a beautiful question. Those three nuggets, the first would be trust yourself. Trust yourself. You have everything you need inside of you. Listen to your intuition. Give yourself the space. The other thing I would say is enjoy your journey, because yes, there are times when life has been, I would say, really hard and really challenging. And just trust that everything is happening for your highest good, and you will look back one day and it will all make sense. I would say that to my younger self. And the other thing I would say to my younger self is simply, you are enough just how you are. You're beautiful. You're enough. Oh, I'm getting emotional. I think it's amazing to do this. Thank you. And love yourself.
I love that.
Mm.
Yeah, that you are enough piece. It is something that a lot of women need to be reminded.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you. That
thank
was
you.
really beautiful. What a great question.
Now let's go into the future, and we are going to go
Okay.
and sit with the 90-year-old you. She's sitting in her rocking chair on her porch, surrounded by her family, her dogs, her cats, whoever's with you at the end. If I could teleport you into the future to have a
Mm.
conversation with the 90-year-old you, what will you say to her when you finally meet her?
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I do this often actually. I do this with clients, and I love these future visualizations because we get so much out of them. And my 90-year-old self would say to me, be patient, because everything you are meant to do and everything that you want to do is all happening. It's all happening and it will happen. And just be patient and enjoy the ride. That is exactly what I'd tell her. And also the importance of caring for herself and making sure that she understands that her family, her loved ones are a priority over everything.
Absolutely beautiful. The other reason why I love to ask women this question, and you kind of touched on it when you were speaking earlier, is that a lot of women don't realize that the wise woman is already in us. She is that quiet voice that says, say yes, say no, go left, go right. But we are always looking outside of ourselves for the answers, but they are within. So I have a little game that I play. I sometimes talk to who I am becoming. And I go into my meditation, my prayers, and I can ask her a simple question like, so what is the next step? What is my next step? And then I get these light bulb moments when I wake up, and it's like I'm in the shower, it drops into my mind, and I know exactly how to execute. Or I'll bump into someone and I'll tell them what I'm working on, and they have a solution. So she's there in the future guiding us, and time is just an illusion. Our past, our present, our future exist in the same timeline. We can go back and talk to the younger woman. We can go forward and talk to the older one. So thank you so much for bringing this beautiful story to our platform to remind our community that abundance, prosperity is a mindset. And money is an energy that you tap into based on how you think
Absolutely.
about it. Absolutely wonderful. And
Thank you
thank you
so
to
much. What a beautiful conversation. Sorry I interrupted you, but I have loved talking to you. I just want to keep talking, and we're so aligned.
uh,
And thank you.
and thank you to everybody who tuned in today. The Her Story Circle is not just a podcast. We are a social impact movement where we bring you the stories and voices of women from all over the world to uplift you, energize you, motivate you, but most importantly, to take you from where you are now to where you want to go. So tune in again tomorrow when I interview yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world, and bye for now. And thanks again for the interview. Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep